Welcome to Danny Decoy.
Yes, the apparent part
What was
about
it?
this
Daily
that
Danny?
is about me.
Daily Decoy.
Yeah, Daily Decoy.
That's how we should start that. We have a
so
little thing.
This part of the channel is apparently about me, and she calls herself...
I made a whole playlist about it.
Okay, this just makes me look ridiculous the way you're sitting. Can you not?
No, I like my position. I don't know what
Move
you're
your
doing.
arm.
No, it's where it needs to be.
You're making me...
I had a whole 13 minutes of the other video to figure.
Give me some of the fox then. It's mine.
Look! I needed that. Did I get this for you?
Yeah, and you just Indian gave it back. Indian giver. Just put a pillow inside. I said pillow talk.
To have a talk with you. Welcome to Daily Danny Decoy.
No, that wasn't right. Oh my gosh. Don't mind me. Apparently she thinks it's weird for me to have a pillow in front of me.
Your pillow is as big as you.
I am comfortable.
With your Minecraft pillow behind you.
That was Wyatt's, but he gave it to me. It's actually very comfortable. La la la.
You have a shelf to sit on now?
Yes. Well, you took my fox. And
I had the fox the whole time.
But it's mine. And you gave it to me, and then you gave it back to
You
yourself.
invited me here, and I get to hold what I want.
I get a pillow.
Welcome to Danny Decoy.
Oh, gosh.
Is that what we're calling this?
I don't know, but,
Beef?
like... The thing is, like, this makes it sound like I'm some, like, hugely... Can you move your arm somewhere?
Scoot over. You gave me back disease. Are you better?
No. We need to get our lives together now.
Danny Daily.
Situation.
Decoy Danny.
Oh my gosh, get the name right. Daily Decoy?
That.
I don't even think you said it right once.
Triple D. Daily Danny Decoy. Triple D.
No, okay, you're taking over this one. You're the leader.
How do you feel? I like that. Thank you. How do you feel about your interview with Chris Hansen?
Hold on. Was that really the deep question you were going to ask?
No.
I was going to say you had to write that down.
No. That was a starting.
She literally said she had a question for me earlier, and I was like, well, save it for a video. And she's all like, but I won't remember. I'm like, so write it down. And then she's all, how did you feel about your interview with Chris Hansen?
That was conversation.
Deep. No one could have thought of that one.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do I feel? Like, okay, in what way are we talking? Like, I felt like it was a super comfortable interview. And I felt like it was really smooth.
For you to be the interviewee of Chris Hansen when you, in the past, were watching him interview people.
I mean, no, I worked with him.
Just saying.
I mean, no, I wasn't a predator that got interviewed, so... but I wasn't a predator that got interviewed this time either.
You worked with us just for the one investigation, but I remember back then, because you did such a good job, you were so compelling, that we wanted to get you to work in some other cases.
Yes, and that would have been absolute hands down something I would have been all over doing over and over and over again. I loved it. I loved the experience.
So no, I mean, okay, I'm used to being like the interviewee at this point for the last 19 years. It's always been, I'm not the one interviewing anybody. It's always been, what was To Catch a Predator life like? And I feel like people have gotten deep over the years. We've gotten more like deep questions. And I think even like the Chris Hansen interview, it's hilarious. Justin's interview, like he actually got really creative with some things. And I did tell him he did really good. Like he asked me some things I haven't been asked before. And I think Chris did the same.
Actually, this might be, bear with me here just a second. I know I just paused it randomly, but I think we just got an update about this guy today.
Oh, really?
Let me confirm that. Yes, yep. So Robert Salinas, I never know how to say his last name. Yeah, he just got arrested again. January
No.
1st, it looks like. And it was actually for very similar things.
No way.
Like, I do, though, think that Chris is, like, mind-blowing because that man remembers, like, every detail of every episode and every sting.
I bet you he has a whole team that's and helping him remember all the things.
But maybe, but, like, even in our personal, because we had, like, a personal phone conversation the day before.
Well, he went and remembered all the things before he called you.
Okay, he does a really great job holding it all together because I even have like a hard time with certain details and stuff, and I was on one city sting that I have to remember. And even so, like, he can like spout off a screen name and like the conversations like it's nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, it is. It's like it was nothing. But no, Chris is super cool. Like, I actually feel like I've gained more respect for him, which this might be crazy because
you guys are on a cell phone texting basis.
That is weird. Like, I have his number and we have texted multiple times in the last like couple weeks.
You act like you're not a big deal, but
I'm not a big deal.
you like
Chris Hansen's a big deal.
But you text him and you text Emmy Award winning directors and like you have all these. And you used to be chummy with all these famous people.
I lived in Los Angeles. That's just like part of living
I lived
there.
in California. I didn't know
Not
nobody
Los
famous.
Angeles.
Just
You were
saying.
in Sacramento.
I actually didn't live in Sacramento. I was just born there.
Okay, whatever.
I haven't lived there since I was 6.
Anyways, so to your question, no, I have gained more respect for Chris. Even like I didn't feel like I got to know him super well on the stings. To be honest, like there wasn't a ton of interaction with like the decoys and Chris per se. Chris himself, it was more like the decoys and Perverted Justice, and like the decoys and like the production of Dateline. But
Okay.
not so much
So
Chris.
since-
Like, Chris was more on his
I
own.
feel like he wasn't probably as big of a star kind of thing as he is now.
Yeah, no, not like he is
Because he
now.
was more like an anchor at the time.
Well, and he was just, like, starting out the whole, like,
Right.
stings
But
and becoming that.
Was he more like, here's Chris, zoom in, and he's out, and then everybody else is doing their thing?
I mean, pretty much, yeah. Like, but it's not like he ever acted like he was bigger or
No,
better
I'm not
than
just
us.
saying
Like,
that,
like, oh, Chris gets his own trailer over here by himself and don't bother Chris. It wasn't like that at all.
I
it
mean,
was
you've had
just-
your own trailer places.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of actor life sometimes, but he wasn't by any means like, y'all don't talk to me because I'm too good for you. It was just more like he was preparing and doing his thing because his stuff is more intricate than my stuff. I'm literally just winging it on the fly. Like, person shows up, say something about the weed or whatever. He's
Well,
more...
it's still more, like, it was still based on, because he wasn't, like, a journalist type before.
So he had to, like,
he was
research.
used to these things, like, and you see him come out with the documentation so he can, like, cliff note, like, you were talking about this.
Yeah, no,
And,
he
like-
comes out with the chat logs, and the thing is, he had to do his studying and researching before these guys came in the door, because he had to know information, like, all the information in the chat log and the details about it. I didn't have to know details, I just needed to know, like, we lost a light. I just needed to know, essentially, the highlights. And so, like, I'd get more information later, but I didn't need to know every detail of the information going out there and doing my job. Whereas Chris, like, had to have his stuff together and the details behind it and know what he's going to ask and what he's going to ask about and, like, all the things. So he had a lot more to prepare in the downtime than us as decoys, and we did. But we still did work. Like, we still looked at, like, chat logs and saw some of the pictures that they sent or, like, answered phones, that sort of thing, talked on the phone. So we weren't all just, like, dead space, but he also wasn't spending a lot of time with us in that capacity and, like,
Well, if he's, like,
ha-haing with us,
researching
you
and
know?
stuff and doing his part,
Mhm.
you guys are doing your part of, like, calling people.
Yeah,
or
so
not calling,
It
but
wasn't a
listening
whole
to
lot
the
of, like,
calls and
mingle
stuff.
ha-haing with Chris, like, at that time. But we did, like, we talked and stuff. But I feel like I got to know him better in talking to him personally on the phone for like an hour the day before my interview with him over the last couple weeks than I did the days that we spent on the Sting, because I mean, it's work, you know, but I got to talk to him very personally about like my own personal life and his personal life and like that kind of thing that we didn't talk about in the interviews, and that, you know, is not mine to share sort of thing. Yeah. But like, you know, we talked more to Catch a Predator, of course, during those interviews, but we talked a little more personally on the phone about details and things. So it was cool. I like, you know, gained different perspective on Chris and his life and stuff too, and learned a little bit more about him through the phone conversation. And then also like watching the documentary and the footage and how it all started for him and his passion behind To Catch a Predator. All of that has like made me gain more respect for Chris, whereas some of the reviews, what are you doing?
I think there was a contact.
There is a contact down there. Some of the reviews about Predators, you missed. Some of the reviews about Predators were about how it paints Chris in like a bad light, or To Catch a Predator in a bad light, and I really don't get that at all from the documentary. But even so, it showed like him in Cambodia and his passion and what sparked all of this, and that made me even more highly respect Chris and, you know, who he is as a person and why he's doing it. And like I told him over the phone, I'm like, you know, it's funny that people are saying, oh, he does it for the money or whatever. I'm like, at this point, Chris could do anything he wants.
I mean, I'm sure he can retire at this point.
Yeah, like, Chris is set for life. He doesn't need to worry about the money. Like, you have to have a passion for this, because otherwise you're not going to do this a million times over again. He could do anything in journalism, and he's continuing to do this because he is passionate about it, and I have a lot of respect for that.
I wonder if, like, when he got the job to do the show, like, if he, you know, that question comes up to you as Laura, is like, did you know what you were getting into? Like, did you, like, have a passion basically
for that? No, he said that in the interview, though. He was like, you know, because I had said, of course, I didn't know, I knew what I was getting into as far as, like, I could have to testify in court. This is real police work. This is law enforcement, blah, blah, blah. You were really bad at this. This is law enforcement.
You're boring me.
Police work. All of that. I knew what I was getting into, what I signed up for, and, you know, I wanted to do it. But when it comes to, like, thinking it was going to last 19 years or for the rest of my life, because I don't think that by any means To Catch a Predator is going to just disappear now after 19 years. It's there for a lifetime. It's going to be talked about for generations. Like, I did not ever think that that was going to be a thing, or that's where we would be, or I'd be sitting here at 37 years old still talking about To Catch a Predator or decoy work or any of that. But like Chris said, he was like, I mean, I didn't think we were going to make it as far as the Long Beach thing, you know? Like, when he started this, he's like, we're going to do a couple of these, but then after that, guys are going to stop showing up because they're going to expect to see me.
Well,
that hasn't happened yet.
Like I said in the documentary, it's, I think in some universe for the rest of my life till the day I die, I will always be known as the decoy from To Catch a Predator. But like, I never would have imagined that it would have gone on this long and that it was something so groundbreaking. People are going to talk about it still 19 years later.
Well, I didn't think so either. I was a little bit surprised that it went on as long as the Long Beach investigation. I mean, I literally thought that we would do this 2 or 3 times and then who would show up?
This is my interview questions for Chris. Like, I wonder where it became a passion to, like, get these guys, you know, because that's what he's moved on to do in its own private shows and stuff.
Well, I mean, the Cambodia thing in the documentary shows him. He went after a man that was essentially taking advantage of and
like a doctor guy or something.
Yeah, like young girls, like 9-10 years old, to perform like oral sex and horrible things like that. And was like whoring these little girls up. And he went to Cambodia and actually like stood in front of this man and was like, what do you have to say for yourself? And that was the start of his passion towards To Catch a Predator, because he caught this man and he went all the way to Cambodia. And I mean, that's some serious dedication. I don't care if you're a journalist or not. That's like hardcore, and that's a scary situation. But he does it time and time again, just in a different way in the United States. Was
No.
that your question?
No,
We still haven't gotten to your question?
you were rambling.
You asked me a couple.
What's that?
You've already asked me a couple questions.
Those
How
were,
did it feel? How do you feel about the Chris Hansen interview?
that was my starting intro question to get things started.
So original.
I know.
And then you say I bore you.
I got sleepy. You were talking for 10 minutes. No, my question, and I don't know that you actually know the answer to this, but we've talked about...
Do I know the answer to anything?
No, but we've talked about, like, in the future, or currently, like, you would love to do stings again.
I've
But
also been talking to Chris about that.
but you wouldn't be able to do it locally because people know you.
Yeah, this is what stinks about this work.
I'm not done.
Okay,
Let
but I'm
me-
saying that's what
Okay,
stinks.
but let me get to the
Like,
question.
my face is known.
So I'm wondering, do you know if Perverted Justice like purposely looked to see where you guys were located, like where you personally lived? Because later you ended up in Long Beach, hanging out there more.
No.
You were going to the gym at the time.
No, I mean, they were going to hire me for Texas. They brought Dan to Texas. Like, it had nothing to do with that.
I know they were hiring you for Texas. They knew you didn't live in Texas, so that's irrelevant to what I just said.
I'm just saying. Like, it didn't matter where we lived or whatever. It was just...
No, I'm wondering if they did. You don't actually know the answer to this then. I'm wondering if they took that into consideration for the actors that showed up.
I mean, potentially. I wouldn't think so, though, because they were just, like, from what I remember in the waiting room, there were a few of us, and we were all just from the Los Angeles area, and, like, taking us to Long Beach or whatever, but I'm pretty sure we were all located in the same general region. But I don't think our location was really in consideration, and honestly, like, thinking about it, like, it was really risky because we were so close. Like, regardless, I was living in Burbank at the time.
But there is like
Which is
10
only,
million people in the area too.
Yeah, but it's only like 30 something miles from Long Beach, which is the same distance where I am to Nashville. Like, it's not
But there's
far.
I mean, to be fair, there's like from here to Nashville, you're known.
Well, yeah. So if
But in LA, there to Long Beach.
Here's the thing. California is so dang big that,
But
like...
I'm not talking even about space. There's like just 10,000 people.
No, I know, but that's my
packed
point.
into like a tiny
LA
space.
is so dang big that, like, when considering, like, obviously they couldn't have chosen, like, an A-list actor to be the decoy on To Catch a Predator. You know what I mean? So, like, they obviously knew I wasn't some well-known actor where everybody knows my face. But in general, there are so many people that I don't think they were worried about us being
These are chat
recognized.
rooms. Are they using your? I think I've probably asked you this, but they're using your picture though?
No.
They're just doing ASL,
What kind of good best friend are you?
like age, sex, language,
I am disappointed in you.
location.
Oh, wow. She knows less about me than Chris Hansen does. I've answered this,
That's what I
by
said.
the way. I'm disappointed. I'm unfriending now.
Meh.
They go into the chat rooms and they do age, sex, location, like the
I
old
said
AOL
language.
thing. Did she really say language?
I
Oh my
switched
gosh. Age, sex, location out there, and all they did was put that out. So, like, 13 female, Long Beach, done. And then they see who comes at them. Then after that, once they start getting to know or interacting, they wait for them to come to us. So we weren't reaching out to anybody in
that.
specific. They come to us. But then once the conversation goes further, of course, the predators ask for, like, picture proof there. And then they'll be like, are you law enforcement? Like, do you think we're gonna say yes? Because even if we are, we're not gonna tell you yes. But regardless,
But
they
there's
would...
this thing, and I don't know. You're in law enforcement.
law enforcement.
No,
When you were talking about how the best friends that talk alike, I definitely don't talk like you, ambulance.
No, I'm country now. I've lived in Tennessee for a very long time now, over half my life. You hurt my brain. What were you doing? I had a really good
Age,
point.
sex, location,
No, that's not
pictures.
where we were.
Okay, well, I'll lead off on what I was going to say.
Continue on.
Is that maybe it'll spark you, probably not till tomorrow or something, or in the middle of the night when it wakes you up at 4 a.m. You're like, I remember. And then you cannot wake me up, by the way, to ask me the question. You're going to have to write it down. But they do the age, sex, location thing. But what I don't know, and nobody's asked this, which is surprising to me, what I don't know is they did use other people's pictures to lure in the predators. So when they would ask for pictures, like I said, I'd play a redhead, a blonde, a whatever. I mean, and what Piss Hansen, was it Piss Hansen that talked about like having an African American girl and it was a white girl that was playing the decoy and she had to just scurry in, pretend like I'm black but you can't see me. I don't know whose pictures they used. Like,
That's literally what I just asked, and you said you know this answer, and I've talked
that
to you.
wasn't the way you worded it at
I
all.
literally was asking if they used your personal picture.
Yeah, used my personal picture. But that's my point. Is like I don't know whose pictures they were that they were using.
So
like,
the answer is no, they didn't use your personal
no, but that
picture.
was my point. I've already answered this question to you. They did. That's why I had like blonde wigs and stuff in the
Well,
show
I
and
don't know if
redheads.
they took pictures of you with the wig on.
No,
Okay.
dear God, I hope not. I have. There's somewhere in the social media world. I'm sure one of you crazy Reddit fans has it of me in the blonde wig, but
I'm
it's somewhere
surprised
out
they don't
there.
have it on the like
I'll find it so I can just clip it into this.
the fandom picture.
I have looked for it before. I don't know where it went.
The fandom thing. They should have like each of you guys in each of
No,
your
but I'm
like
going like
get-ups.
this, like the classic Asian. It was horrible, in a blonde wig. But my point was, I really don't know where they get the pictures. Like, are they taking pictures of actual minor children? I really don't know the answer to that. And whose permission? Like, they had to have gotten permission if they were using minor girls' pictures. But who's going to volunteer their child for that? You know what I mean?
No, that's weird.
Because thinking about it, like even being the To Catch a Predator decoy and being all about catching these guys, I ain't gonna let you use my daughter's picture to
No.
lure in a pedophile. No way.
That's why I was wondering if they used you all.
No.
Like that would make sense.
But that's what I'm
though.
saying is I don't know. I couldn't answer. I would love to ask Chris that. I need to ask him
No,
that.
you could ask the perverted justice chick. You know, she would know.
She might not. So I still talk to I've answered this in interviews, but like I do have Casey on Facebook, and then Dan I talked to for a long time on Facebook, but he's kind of like a little more behind the scenes and hidden now than he used to be. And I'm still friends with a couple people from Perverted Justice, like Del Harvey. We just don't talk as much. But I still have friends on my page from Perverted Justice. You hear me talk about Frag a lot. I do not have him on social media and haven't talked to him since the show, but Frag was cool. Del, I have on my Facebook, but she's so locked down because she's a big deal. Like, she's legit a big deal. She's, like, brilliant. That woman is, like, I swear she's a genius. But I'm still friends with, like, Julia, who's actually Del Harvey's ex-girlfriend. And she was a part of the Perverted Justice team. She's super cool, and we still talk. We actually have been connecting more lately since the Predators documentary and stuff. But yeah, that's an interesting question, and I could ask Julia, but I don't know if she has the answer to that either. Like, I really think that's a Chris question. I want to know where they got the pictures that
Well,
we
you
were
can ask Chris like what they
using.
do now too, like if they use pictures and stuff now.
Yeah, no, I'm super interested because I can't imagine as a parent, like I said, and I'm all pro To Catch a Predator, Perverted Justice, catching
But
these
nobody
guys,
wants to use their child,
but not with my daughter and not with my
so
son.
it has to be like a decoy picture, like an
Yeah,
adult.
something.
Because there's no way that you can use
But they didn't, to answer that question, they did not use our pictures. We were blondes and redheads and stuff like that. So they would like randomly show me the picture that they were using to be as me, which almost always was nothing like me. I'm half Asian. So I'm not even sure why they thought let's cast the half Asian girl, because I'm not like very versatile as far as you could take you, turn you into a redhead and a blonde and all of that.
Only if
and
my
pull it off.
horoscope says it's my day to change my hair.
But then you put me as a blonde and it's just laughable. I can be versatile as far as playing like ethnic roles, like ethnically ambiguous, but I definitely couldn't just be your average white girl that could throw in
played
some
a black
red.
little boy.
Okay, I did not play a black boy. What she's
You were
talking
his
about.
shadow.
No, not that either.
Something.
Jeez, you are so not an actor. I was
you.
the stand-in in Easy A for the little black boy that played Emma Stone's brother. So I was in Easy A and spent multiple days on that set, literally for just lighting. I was his stand-in. I literally was the stand-in for like a little 10-year-old black boy when I was 19 or 20, something like that. Very random. But no, I don't know how. That's like so interesting to me that I've never thought of that to this point, and nobody's asked about that. I don't know whose pictures they're using, but they do use pictures, and I have seen them. Like, I've seen when they're like, here, this is the redhead you're supposed to look like, and they throw a towel on my head. But I don't know who actually they are.
That's the sad part, is like these predators are so caught up in the
bad habit where
fantasy
now.
that they're not even like fully grasping that you don't look like the picture.
No, and that is interesting.
I mean, I get like some of them have called out hair color, or like if you're a black person versus a white person.
You know what,
that's
though?
kind of obvious,
the guy in the park when I had the blonde wig did say something about my hair. I think you asked me about that the other day, and you were like, was that another decoy? I actually think that was me. Now I have to go rewatch my own episode, because in the park, I'm pretty sure he asked me if I changed my hair color, and I said I dyed it.
Yeah, there's a clip about that, but I don't know if it was you or
I'm
not.
pretty sure, but that did happen, but I don't know if it was the same thing.
I don't feel like it was.
Yeah, the park guy that came up in a rental car, he said something about my hair because it was the platinum blonde wig. That guy, I will tell you guys, scared me the most as far as what he was capable of and where his mind was, because he was supposed to be running away with a 14-year-old girl, brought an MP3 player, came in a rental car, had gotten a speeding ticket on the way over. Like, that man was just hours from state lines, and I think had I been a real 14-year-old girl, that story would not end well. Like, this would have been like Amber Alert trafficking situation, is just my feeling on that man. Like, and I'm like really intuitive, and I feel like that man in particular, I had reason to be afraid, and that's probably the only one that I would say I had legit fear. The other ones, not so much. I don't even think I was really nervous with most of them. Here or there I get a little nervous, but like...
So you weren't nervous, Nelly?
No, I don't. I really want to watch Nervous Nelly because I keep hearing her name in all the Reddit things. I don't watch all of To Catch a Predator stuff. I don't keep up with it all the time. I don't watch my episodes 1,000 times or anything like that. I'm working off memory really for most of it. And of course the clips that random interviews, they like to show me the random clips. But other than that, I don't sit there watching myself on TV every day. In fact, like in our friendship, she didn't know I was the To Catch a Predator girl till like well into our friendship. And she nicely puts it, she didn't give a crap at all, which I appreciate. Because it's extra weird when people start acting weird around you and more like, oh la la, I really like you because you're famous. I'm not famous. actually in Tennessee, I'm like famous for being the YMCA girl. My kids come home like every other day and are like, my friend asked if you were on a YMCA commercial.
Middle Tennessee.
My kid, who's gonna be 13 soon, he comes home today and is like, my friend asked me today if my mom was on the YMCA commercial. And I was like, well, what did you say? And he was like, I said maybe. I was like, why would you? You know, like, yes, your mom was in the YMCA. What do you mean, maybe?
That's why
Like,
I said,
he's heard this
that's
a
why I
million
pulled
times.
up the picture of the website, and it's her picture, like,
Lily, boom.
right up in front of
And
it.
like the commercial starts with my huge smile that
And
you
I'm like,
can't deny.
yes, might be your mom.
I kid you not, I had a random person in the neighborhood while we're at the pool be like, and I have no idea who this guy is, he was an older guy, was like, okay, don't mind if I ask you, like, this might be weird, but were you in a YMCA commercial?
But
And
the same thing
at
that,
church.
I mean, just at church, like
Mhm.
2 weeks ago, it was the same thing, and we've talked about this in another video, literally.
He was
Or
like, I think I
the
saw you
door-
on TV.
The door greeter.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
think I saw you in a YMCA commercial.
You did.
And then I get random messages on Facebook all the time. I think I just saw you in a YMCA commercial. Yes, but I will take that over the other thing I'm known for, which is not just to catch
I'm
predator.
just going to blurt it out one day.
Nope. I'm still waiting for
is
somebody
my
to
tip.
try and figure this out.
That's the
It's
tip.
more this way.
That kind of looks dirty,
This
though.
way. This?
Like it's like a hand thing.
Okay, you're weird. Oh, anyways, yeah, here in Tennessee, I'm like mainly, and this is the thing, I could not do a sting in Tennessee because I'm so well known, and that sounds like, I'm not saying I'm like famous or amazing, but I'm so well known as a photographer here and have so many clients, like everybody in our town, because our town's not huge,
Well, you have
knows me.
Well, and then your clients have branched off. So
Yeah.
you have clients that are like
Yeah.
in Alabama. You've had people travel from Mississippi.
Like, I have a huge client base. And then on top of that, like, my ex-husband was a super well-known massage therapist with his own business. And so everybody knew him. And because everybody knew him, I was known as his wife at the time. So everybody knew me. And then when I started my business, now it's like between the two of us, because he's got now his own balloon business with his wife now, and event business, and they do a ton in the community.
It's weird because
Everybody knows us.
we don't live in like a tiny town per se. Like,
Well, it once was.
but there's like 80,000 people here or something. But it's still very small community. Everybody knows everybody.
No, it's like to the point where we've done, like, I've done photography or events and like went to get food at the food truck, and the food truck guy is like, oh, you're Danny. Like, I see all about you on like iHeart Spring Hill and Facebook and community pages. And I'm like, yeah, I know all about you too. Like, all the businesses and vendors know each other. So it's like, I couldn't pull that off here. Everybody would be like, it's Danny the photographer, or Danny the YMCA girl now.
But maybe that's part of it, and part of my question. Maybe they didn't use your guys' local pictures for that reason.
I mean, maybe, but California's so dang big.
I know. I'm just
I don't
thinking.
think that would have mattered.
I'm just.
I didn't know a quarter of as many people living in Los Angeles for 8 years as I do here. Then again, I've lived here longer,
You
but
know
still.
a lot of people from California, though.
I do, but I still don't
You're
think.
like, I was sitting with big boys, Bob's Big Boys, with blah 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 blah.
But that was the thing. I was would have been contracted to do 3 other states, and my episode hadn't aired yet, so it would have been amazing because I would have gotten to do those states before my face was known as the Decoy, and been able to be a part of it for longer. And Chris and I talked about this, like, I really wish I could have worked with him longer, and I really wish I could have worked with Perverted Justice longer. And I'm still like dead set that my job and my career as a decoy is not over yet. It's been on
You're gonna be
hiatus.
like 90 with your
Right?
little cane.
It's on hiatus and has been for 19 years, but I don't think I'm done
I mean,
yet.
to be fair, you still look younger than some of the
yeah, I
the
still always
copycat
get,
people.
oh my gosh, Decoy. If anybody watched Predators, that whole Decoy section, don't get me started on my
I mean, they
reviews
can
on
like
that.
YouTube, Google.
Yeah, YouTube, Skeet Hansen.
Yeah, the
Skeet Hansen and Decoy. I don't want to blast them, but that was just nonsense. And they're going to get themselves in a lot of legal trouble, is all I have to say. Impersonating law enforcement. And then I feel like Decoy has her own issues going on. And no judgment. I have my own trauma. There's trauma there for sure. But she
also
got
doesn't look
something
like
more
a
going on.
12-year-old girl, though.
No. She looks like she's,
You get mistaken
like
for
late
children,
40s.
a child all the time.
I like constantly I'm getting mistaken for my kid's friends or her daughter's friend or whatever while we're checking out at the grocery store.
Because
Like,
she blends in with
yeah.
children.
So I don't think my career with this is done and I don't want it to be done, and maybe that's me like hanging on to the good years. There's been a 19-year hiatus. Maybe by year 20 you'll catch me doing it somewhere and decoying again. I foresee me doing it in some other states. The Chris Hansen interview was super cool. I loved it. I felt like it went really smoothly. Would do it again any day. I would love to work with Chris. We've talked about it, working again together in some way or capacity, which would be super, super cool. I'm down for that. And in general, continuing to do interviews, I'm down for that too, because there's more to life than To Catch a Predator, and there's been a lot of life since To Catch a Predator, but who knows what's gonna happen with like the spin-off shows, because now there's that too. Gonna check out Takedown and see Chris's new process on catching the predators. I heard one walked in naked recently, so
No, you
It's
guys
fun.
talked about that they
Mhm.
still are doing the same things.
and also look out for there'll be a part 2 with the Piss Hansen YouTube channel. It feels so funny saying that, Piss Hansen. I'm like,
So
Talking to Chris
interesting.
and
Did
then
he
Chris
say
Hansen.
why? How this?
it was
came
kind of like a
across?
spoof funny thing, but like out of respect for Chris, it wasn't like a like dogging Chris
Yeah.
sort of thing.
No,
but it
he
does kind of
does.
sound that way when you say it.
Yeah.
But like I'm doing a part 2 with him, so any questions, throw them his way, because I told him to get creative and I said get personal, I don't care. You'll see a part 2 of that, and we'll see where Chris and I end up and if we cross paths again, because between Crime Con and then Predators, the documentary, and then our interview together, we have had a lot of interaction lately, so it'd be super cool to reconnect and work together again in some way. Time will tell.